like a week away from the NFL draft. So this is one of the best times of the NFL offseason. Let's get in really quickly to you want to just go down our mock drafts real quick? Pick number one, the Carolina Panthers. I'll start off with this one. I didn't like it at first, but I think they go Bryce Young. I think it's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, do we all have Bryce Young for that one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty locked in that Bryce Young is going to be the number one overall pick based off the recent reports.
I saw FanDuel. FanDuel is all the way down to like he's minus 1,000 to go first overall.
Damn.
Yeah. The second overall pick, the Houston Texans. Who do you guys have going here?
Do we all have the same one for this one? If number one's Bryce Young, do we all have?
It makes me want to puke, but yeah, I have C.J. Stroud.
I do as well.
Slim chance, like when the reports were him going to like the Panthers like a week or two ago, I had a little bit of faith, thinking it was a better spot than the Texans. I feel like this isn't going to help the fucking Ohio State QB narrative in the NFL at all. They all just get set up in the worst situations possible. Like Haskins to the Commanders, Justin Fields to the Bears, and now C.J. Stroud to the Texans. Like that's like arguably three of the worst franchises for a quarterback to go, based on the last 20 years, like, yeah, it's upsetting.
I will say I think CJ would do better with the Texans. I don't know why. I just like him better with the Texans than I do the Panthers.
I think
Frank, that's a hot take.
Panthers. Yeah, that's a hot take.
I feel like that's a hot take.
This is gonna sound awful. Not awful. This just sounds dumb. But a good part of that is I think he's gonna look better in the Texans uni than he would the Panthers uni.
I can see that. I like it. I like the thought process behind
like DeAndre Hopkins, I think looked way better as a Texan than he did as a Cardinal. As a Cardinal solely off uni alone.
I can get behind that. I agree with that one. Yeah, I have C.J. Stroud as well. This is who I kind of wanted to go number one. But, I mean, recent reports, like Cini said, everyone's just saying Bryce Young's going number one. So, I guess Josh McCown lied to C.J. Stroud when he said when he's living in Charlotte, they can look up places to go hoop. That was a lie. Number 3. Currently held by the Arizona Cardinals. I guess two-part question. One, do you think they hold on to it? Two, who do you think's the third pick?
I think there will be a trade, but in terms of the whole math of how to calculate a trade, when you get, I'm just gonna say I think there's gonna be a trade, but not in this one. I just did the Cardinals doing Christian Gonzalez, just because like everyone has Will Anderson, the linebacker, and I don't know, Christian Gonzalez is like the best next available outside rusher, like quarterback or offensive tackle. I think he's probably the best corner option available. I'd have to say. I like Devin Witherspoon a lot, but Christian Gonzalez like build is better. But yeah, I think Arizona goes Christian Gonzalez, and then Cardinals are more
like that.
I like that. There's a different scenario there. I kind of with you too. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if they trade this pick, but I do just have them taking Will Anderson just because I think he is too damn good to pass up here. Even if you trade back and still land a pick in the top 10, I just don't know if you get a guy that's as good as Will Anderson is. And you can never have too many edge rushers. Got to go with this guy.
Yeah, honestly, that situation that Hayden you just talked about is a lot like the Texans last year, where Stingley just got picked. What was he, 2 or 3? Because 3 out of nowhere. But I like Cini. I went Will Anderson. I don't think the Cardinals trade up, and it's not because they aren't trying to. I think they wanted or trade back. I think the Cardinals want to trade back, but I think the Colts quarterback pick is pretty locked in, and I don't think anyone wants that guy more than the Colts. Like, I don't think a team's going to be threatened to go up and get this guy before the Colts, at least in my mock. So I went Will Anderson.
Okay.
All right. And now let's get into the Colts. So number
So
4.
the Colts have their guy set?
No, it's just from kind of people's inklings of who they like. It just feels like.
Okay, because I saw Jimmy Irsay fucking tweet that they really want a quarterback, but I didn't know if they had one like set. So I just figured quarterback was the pick, but I didn't know who.
I think it's just Will Levis the whole way. I don't think it's smart. I think Anthony Richardson's a better player, but they love Will Levis for some reason. First, they are in love with Will Levis. I'm not in love with Will Levis at all. But I think that's who the Colts are going to go with. I wish Anthony Richardson would get a shot in Steichen's offense in Indianapolis. I think that would be a really good spot for him. But I think they're going to go with Will Levis. I think they regret it. I think they do.
Damn.
I'm as big as a Will Levis hater as it can get, and I can see that none of us are Will Levis guys here. I've never been high on him. I refuse to believe the throws at pro days. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm sorry, Zach Wilson made the greatest pro day throw of all time, and we have seen how he's panned out. But I think they take Anthony Richardson. I'm not getting Will Levis in my top 5. I just don't think this guy's going to be a good NFL quarterback, and I think Anthony Richardson's ceiling is unreal. So they got to take the risk on this guy, and like Zach said, give him a chance in this offense. So Anthony Richardson at 4.
See, I'm so grateful for the path you've just blazed, because I also did not want Will Levis in my top 5. I didn't know that they were the rumors were out saying that like they really like him or not. Because
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, because I've seen mock drafts with both Will Levis and Richardson in like the 4 spot, and I was like, I don't like either of them, but at least Anthony Richardson has like pure athleticism you can just like work with and like help sculpt, because you're an NFL program that builds NFL talent. But yeah, I don't get what the hype is about Will Levis. Like, to me, he's like
I think he's too bulky
SEC
now.
Chase Litton.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's taken the off season wrong. He's like gotten super jacked and all this stuff and posting like how much muscle he's put on and stuff, and like that's cool, but like
He'll be a tight end in 4 years.
Okay, and that brings us to number 5, the Seahawks.
All right. I honestly I probably should have done more research in terms of like who they need, but like I was looking at like mock drafts, and I feel like everyone had a different pick for 5, at least the ones I was seeing. So I just looked at like the top 10 people that are being picked consistently. I like edge rushers, like you said. Like the edge rusher is like the new defensive like I feel like that's the position that gets paid the most, like more than not, like T.J. Watt, things like that. So I did Nolan Smith, just because if you are playing it at Georgia or Alabama, you're basically practicing against NFL talent already. So I feel like anybody from like
Hayden Hot Take. We got to change your name to Hayden Hot Take, bro.
I don't know. Stetson Bennett is gonna go like late draft, and I think he's gonna do well because he played against NFL defensive backs eventually or some point. You know, like Keely Ringo and things like that. Like I just feel like if you go to Georgia, you go to Alabama, you're almost used to the practice where you're gonna have.
Hayden, I respect it. You know, Hayden Hot Take out here. However, I'm also going with the edge rusher, and it's not one that's a potential second rounder. It is Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. I'm a big fan of Tyree Wilson. I'm a big fan of edge rushers, and Nolan Smith. That was a major curveball. You know, Hayden, you froze me on a 3-2 count with that one. I thought this pick is between Luke Van Ness from Iowa and Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. I think Tyree Wilson is going to be the better player long term, and he is an absolute beast, and it's going to be a good pickup for Seattle's defense, who is already pretty damn good.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I saw a mock draft, and they were before Nolan Smith in the mock draft. Like he was picked like teens, but just like
I will say I would take personally Nolan Smith over Lucas Van Ness. That is just me personally. So I can see that. For mine though, I think the Seahawks trade this back. I think this is where, like I was saying, no one's afraid that, in my opinion, that the Colts are going to take. I think everyone thinks they're going to mess up and take Will Levis. This is where I have the Titans coming in, trading up and taking Anthony Richardson.
Ooh, I like that
So
a lot.
I think that's what ends up happening.
I thought about including in mind the Titans trading for the third pick just to get their guy, but
so that's what I was
I like
thinking.
it.
But
And that would make sense because Seattle needs first round picks back from the, or no, they get a first round pick for the Russell Wilson.
They got
trade.
all the first.
Oh yeah, so they're trying to keep getting more first rounders, bro. That'd be genius for Seattle. They're doing like an OKC thing.
No, and see, I mean, and they got Geno still right now. They don't really need, unless I don't see them drafting a quarterback. So if someone wants to go up and, they would jump in front of the Falcons, they jump in front of the Raiders, because even though the Raiders signed Jimmy G, like, it's still the Raiders. They will draft anybody at any time. They do not care.